Hello, I'm Nenya and this is a mid-August update from my garden. We've just come back after having been away for about 6 weeks, so nobody has been doing a lot of work here. There's been a friend eating some of the produce, but not much else, so you can see that some things have become a bit overgrown. There are a few weeds growing here and there. Some things need cutting back, chopping back, tying up. But we've come back here and we have fruit to eat. And some more on the way. Japanese wine berries here. White currants. A few blueberries. Still some wild strawberries. Black currants. Raspberries. Edible honeysuckle or honeyberry. Also coming on are cornelian cherries. These are Babington's leeks in flower and bulbil. There's a cardoon in flower, the purple flowers in the background, and all sorts of other flowers and herbs going slightly ballistic from all the rain that there was spilled here. Even some things in pots are doing much better this year than in the previous years, partly due to rain and partly due to overflow water butt system that I've installed in the winter. In the back garden we have tomatoes. These are Goldkrone. These are one of the sweetest cherry tomatoes I've tried. Among them there's basil going very strong. Some lettuce going to seed that didn't get eaten in time. And this is the star of the show. This is the perennial rocket which had mutated in my garden. It's now refusing to flower, but instead it's producing loads and loads of these succulent green leaves, right to the very frost. The trees are laden with apples this year. Well, at least 2 of them are. The one right in the middle now hasn't got any, but there are pears. And the other apple tree is doing well. And the second pear's also got a few pears in it. It is clearly going a bit wild, and some things probably should have been cut back or pulled out weeks ago. But even if in this state of relative neglect, it's doing reasonably well and it's looking reasonably good. And there's certainly plenty to eat here without us having spent any effort for the past 6 weeks. The rhubarbs are growing really massive this year, thanks to a lot of mulch, including of our own homemade compost. And the newly planted strawberries are finally getting into their own, their roots reaching down to the substrate of almost finished humanure compost, which we put into the middle of this raised area. And there should be blackberries ready soon, but I doubt we'll get any fruit on the chocolate vine this year. There is a little courgette coming on, probably too old now, and tiny baby patisson as well. There are some corners that are almost empty. There's so much overhead that very little light comes into these corners. So we need to think about what plants would tolerate the conditions here better. This New Zealand spinach is doing okay. So is the celery and kale and the sweet violet. But the borage that volunteered didn't make it very far. A few weeds have grown, shining cranesbill and this soncus, which we will eat. And this endive has made it into flower, so we'll probably be collecting seeds from it. And the Caucasian spinach is also in flower, hopefully seed. And the good King Henry has grown to fairly massive proportions, outgrowing this gooseberry. The tadpoles have graduated. I have seen one tiny froglet earlier in the garden. And there's some weird fungus growing in the compost that's been left in the hot bin for a few weeks. There's a close-up. Everything seems perfectly happy, full of life, overflowing, trying to burst the boundaries of the garden, expand into the neighbouring ones. And some parts of the neighbouring garden are trying to expand into ours. This ivy will need a cutback soon. This composter contains the batch of human manure which was transferred into here probably about mid-June, and it was full then, layered with some more green material. Now it's all gone down to this lovely brown mass. Some was very fine texture, and you can see some worms. There's a red back of one, I think. There's life of a different kind happening here inside this container. Soon this will be ready for use in the garden as mulch. So all in all, it probably could have done with a bit more attention over the past weeks, but it survived our absence fairly well, and it's thriving beyond my imagination. And it's buzzing with insects. And okay, there are a few snails, but that's life, eh? So it'll probably take me about a day to catch up with this, chop things back, harvest, fill some blanks if I have plants for them. But otherwise, probably harvesting will be the main job for August, September. That's all from me. Goodbye for now, and thank you for watching.